Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Keeping It Real on Purpose, and I am your host, Edna White. I am so glad you're here. This is the place where we keep it real. We're talking to real people with real issues, tackling real things, and they're doing it all on purpose. And today I want to dive in with our guest, Ashley Sims, which I want to tell him honestly, I thought you were a woman because of the name. But so you're gonna have to forgive me, and because I didn't open the book up, and then when I said, "Oh, that's not a woman,"
Okay. It's okay. I get it all the time.
so
I
I
get it
will
for
say,
years.
"Oops." Yeah, I made that oops, and I got indulged. I started indulging in this book, Purposely Married, and I want to tell you a little bit before he gets on here talking. He is Ashley Sims, an Army veteran, is the author of this amazing book that you can read in one day with 12 it's purposely married, 12 principles of a happy marriage. And he is the host of the Witness the Power podcast. With over 20 years of graphic design, he helps individuals and brands communicate their message effectively. He is passionate, he's a mentor, he inspires others to live with purpose and lead with faith. Welcome to the show, Ashley.
Hey, glad to be here.
Are you ready to dive in?
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready when you are.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about you. I gave them a little snippet of you, but you can give them some more.
Okay. Well, like you said, I've been married for 30 years. Yeah, I got married. People say you get married too young. I got married at 21. So,
Okay.
and I'm still married to the same beautiful lady all these
Right.
years, and we still happy and wonderful. And she inspired me to write this book.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah. I have three children.
Okay.
Two boys and one girl. So
Okay.
yeah, and that's all about me. Like I said, I served in the military, and I
Hmm.
do graphic design and build websites, all that kind of stuff. And I love like transformers and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
kind of a geek on that geek side. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So one of my things that I did read about the book, and I like that the topic, I always ask, and you made me, you inspired me to add this into my podcast, the story behind the story. So from now on, I'm stealing this from you to let you
Go
know
right
real
ahead.
early that when I ask people what's the story behind the story, it came from you.
That's okay. That's what we're here to do, to inspire people to actually
Yes.
live on purpose and be about that purpose, because so many
Yes.
people feel like they don't know what to do, and they following some of the wrong people leading them astray, and they get like
Right.
jaded because somebody said something wrong and they
Uh-huh.
didn't check it out. They just believe them because they trust them. So that's what we're doing, is tell them, hey, there's a better way. It's more exciting out there than they
Absolutely.
think it is. Yes.
That's great. That's great. So, lead us into the story that brought you to writing this book. I know you said your wife inspired you, but lead us into the story that really pushed you forward to kind of write this story for everyone else.
Okay, what happened was, it was a pastor. She's a female pastor. She didn't have any
Right.
men on staff, and I attended a church years ago. And when she went out and did her own, she had a bunch of men. She said, "I needed a mentor. Could you
Hmm.
make a class for me?" And so when I originally designed this, it was a class designed for men, and it was originally called the Marriage Blueprint. And
Okay.
so after that didn't come to fruition because I don't know what happened. She didn't contact me, but I had this back on my computer. And so one day, my wife said, "You really need to write a book." Let me tell you about this. For this book, I hadn't wrote a book before. She helps people write books, right?
Right.
And I wrote it, and she said, "Yeah, you left out a lot of stories." And I was like, "I'm supposed to tell people that? They don't want to know." Hey, that's too much information. She said, "No, you have to tell the story." I told
Mhm.
stories that went from one start and finish. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not how it's supposed to work. I didn't want to be vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man.
Yeah.
That
Not
type of
many of
stuff.
us want to be, but we
No,
are.
that's what it was. So finally, I started writing this book. I said, you know what? I started thinking about all the people that I've talked to and coached over the years. I said, more than men need this book. I think everybody who goes into relationships. So I wanted to impact everybody, but mainly
Hmm.
those who were married been divorced, or thinking about getting married.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things we don't know until somebody tells us or we experience it. So I hope that I could share this knowledge of what seems so complicated, but
Hmm.
really is pretty simple. So
Right.
that's how I got started. I wrote the book, and finally, and then I didn't finish it right away. I wrote it, put it away. She said, "Where is
Yeah.
that book?" So, with seemingly book that should have been done in about uh, 4 years ago, maybe it may be longer than that. I don't forgot, but she reminded me, "You need to write this book." So
Yeah.
one day I went to her and I said, "Okay, honey, all right, I'm gonna finish the book." Because she's a purpose person too, right? Goal setting, all the 9 yards. She said, "You need to make a date, and then you on that date is either done or not." And
Yeah.
so I said, "Okay, what I did, I set a date. I said I'm gonna have it done by this date." And I said to myself, "All right, when I'm done, I'm just gonna hand it to her, finished or not, right?" So I got to the date. I worked night and day just to finish it
Okay.
because I had wrote it so I can get it to the editor.
Right.
So once I got it to the editor, then the rest is history. Now you have this
The
wonderful
finished
book.
product. Yeah. The finished product.
Yeah. So that's what that's what the story began. It was like I said, originally it was designed for a Bible study for
Okay.
men because the
Okay.
pastor didn't have any males to mentor her men.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's take it from the first principle. I know there's 12. Share with my audience your first principle.
All right. With the first principle, you talk about the choices, your relationship choices.
Uh huh.
This is really where people mess up, I believe, right? They have an idea, but they really don't
Right.
know what they want. So if you know what you want, you choose somebody. I'm gonna tell you a story real fast. It was a guy.
Hmm.
I don't know if I put this in the book, but I might have a lot of story. So we were on. We was in Fort Stewart one day,
Okay.
and one day he was complaining about his wife not staying home, want to be home with her. So we said, "Where did you meet your wife?"
Right.
Met her in the club. He thought just because he married her that she was gonna stop and stay home every night. So we said, "No, man, the marriage is more than just that. It's the things
Uh
you
huh.
gotta understand." And what people miss in their relationship is some of the signs that come early. Like you ignore them, like I can change them if I marry them or if I show them a better
Oh
way.
my
No, a
gosh.
lot of people
Yeah.
did. And I'm like, brother, the signs were there. You were enamored with what you saw.
Right. And most of the time, it is just who you see. It's your
Yeah.
visual.
Yep.
And perception. It's your visual. Oh yeah. No, you don't really know anybody. Anybody can look great, and we see this from
Yeah.
what's that called? Marriage at first sight. You see,
Yeah.
the experiment they have on television,
Yeah.
and you see oh, things that look good are really rotten on the inside.
I
you
can tell
know.
you a lot of stories about that. I mean, you think about this.
Yeah,
You
really
meet
rotten on the
somebody.
inside. So do you recommend with this principle, the first principle here, do you recommend, how long they're together, to really get to know each other?
I think you really need to be together longer than 6 months, really,
Yeah.
because you're not gonna find out all about them. Of course, me and my wife dated 2.5 years before
Okay.
we got married. Okay,
Okay.
because people don't actually reveal themselves right away to you, and
You
plus you
got
might be
that
so
right.
enamored with the look. Man, that girl is fly, or he is the one. Then those little things happen. You're like, oh, I'm just gonna ignore that, right? And
Yeah.
all the time when I'm telling people, I said that's the thing you should have paid attention to because it's gonna annoy
Right.
you
Yeah.
later. And often, oh, it's really cute. I love the way you do it. And later on, I can't stand the way you do that, right? So that's what happens when you choose a relationship. It's okay if you like the way you look, but they
Hmm.
also got to have how should I say this? Some intelligence, a little bit of intelligence
Oh
up
yeah.
there to make
Yeah.
sound decisions. They can't
Yeah.
just be now. It all depends on what you want. But don't get mad when you choose something that annoys you later. So there's some things that you have to know that you want in a relationship,
Right.
in a person that you want to meet. So that
Right.
that's also plays into it. But after you date a while, you'll begin to see, you know what, this is not the one for me. And if
Right.
the little things, and I'll say this, I had a friend, well,
Mm-hmm.
still, he's still my friend. You don't see his podcast, but he was dating a female. And I
Mm-hmm.
told him, based on what he told me,
Right.
she is not the one for you. But yeah, and I really like her. She really liked me. I said, okay. Month later, yeah, you know what? She not. I said I
I
told you that.
told you.
I told you that already. So yeah, there's
Yeah.
some things that you shouldn't ignore. My advice to people when they date:
Yeah.
be understanding and know that patience. And if you're really, really good about it, ask
Yeah.
the direct question.
Yeah.
What do you plan to do in the next 5 years, 3 years, two
Right.
years? What do you do?
Right. Do you think it's okay? So I'm going to go back to this show I always watch. It's the Married at First Sight.
Yeah.
When one of the gentlemen said, "I have this list that is a what's he called it, um, non-negotiable." These not all. He had this long list of
Hmm.
non-negotiables, right? So, do you think it's wise to go into a relationship with these non-negotiables?
Okay, I would say this.
Okay.
If you think you're going to get the perfect person, yes, because you're not going to find it. Okay. You
Okay.
should have some things that's like, okay, if they are like, don't budget, or it's some things
Right.
that you know
Right.
because you can't handle, okay, that's fine. But
Hmm.
please, you're going to limit your choices because
Right.
let me tell you something. And probably in my book, I probably said this to everybody. When my wife met me,
Hmm.
I was not the perfect person. I wasn't even a Christian at the time. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I had some issues, some flaws. But
Right.
she told me that she had a list that she wrote years ago about the man that she was looking for. I
Right.
said, man, you making that up. She said, no. And I fit every description of that. So this is it's a two-way street. Okay. If you're
Okay.
still lonely at an age 100, that's your fault. That's not the fact there's not enough women in the world or men in the world. It's your
Right.
fault because you fail to forget
Right.
that people are flawed. And you
Right.
are too in that list, Mr.
Yeah.
Non-negotiable.
Right.
Okay. So they might grow into something later. They just needed the right person to pour into
Right.
them. And that's what happened to me. The right person found me and
Right.
my
Right.
crazy self and poured into me and believed in me. And look at here.
Right.
We still doing it.
I don't think you had those were non-negotiables, and one of his non-negotiables was sh- he wanted her to be able to have children or have children, want children, but he didn't include when he listed his. He said on his list was she should want children. Well, he didn't say 10 children. you know, and he wanted 10 children. She's like 10. 10. I could see one. I said because we have to afford them.
Yeah.
And right away, I was like, okay, he's not being feasible at
No,
all.
no, he's not
And
considered the
it's
other
just
person.
so. Do you think that's a sign of non-commitment to
Yeah.
create this?
Yes, absolutely. If
Okay.
you got to have something that solid where you're going to, unless it's a principle, like fine, but that
Right,
is
a
something.
principle's different. Yes.
Principle is there, but it's something like I want to have 10 children. Okay, good luck with that, because most women not thinking about 10 children when they marry you. If you say that, they think
No.
you nuts. Okay, I'm talking. And if they married at first sight, come on, I ain't asked my wife for 10 children. What? She probably said,
Ten
"Go find
children.
somebody else, buddy. I came for one."
I don't think he's going to marry anyone. I'm gonna be
I don't
honest with
think
you.
so.
I think he's so unflexible that
Yes.
And the other thing, he wanted somebody younger than him, but he failed to say 20 years younger than him. So he was 40. He wanted somebody in their 20s, but he had on his list, I want somebody younger. The woman was younger, but not 20 years younger.
And what is this? A Christmas list? Come on, let's be real.
I
Not
couldn't believe it. I was like, oh yeah, I
let's
think
be
this is an
real. Do you
excuse.
want to get married or do you want
Yeah, I don't think he wanted
something?
to
He
be. I
don't want
don't
to get
think
married.
he.
That's
I think he wanted
usually
to have
that's
excuses.
right.
excuses, and it's okay not to want to get married. You don't have to.
Okay,
I think
nobody's forced you to.
no, nobody's forcing you to get married. I
Unless
think
you
it's, you could choose to or not. And I think he was tired of hearing his parents say, it's time for you to get married. Then that's when you move far, far away. you know.
oh, I got something there. Oh, when I was in Dubai, right?
Uh-huh.
I met a guy, right? He's from India, and he said, "I'm not going home because they have a wife for me. I'm gonna continue to work. I'm not ready to get married. I'm staying down here." That's what he told me.
See, and you just move far, far away, and that way when you're ready, you're ready, and that's
Yeah.
it. So, but I just think it's a laundry list, and the other list that people come to the table with that I've seen is the ultimatums. Well, my this last boyfriend did this, and they come with that laundry list, or maybe it's a garbage list, and then expect that
I'm
person to
sorry.
kind of fulfill that. So talk about that.
I think you summed it up already. It's a garbage list.
Yeah,
You're talking about human beings, not
right.
something you buy at the store. Like, batteries not included. Like I said,
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's your choice. I was about to say something else, but your choice. But as
Yeah,
somebody who's been working with people that's been married for a while,
yeah,
I think that's silly because people change over time.
yeah,
And with your input, they begin to grow or they begin to shrink.
yeah,
So yeah, that's garbage list. Now, if you just want to have one and say, this is what I would like to have, okay, fine. But if you're saying that's what I gotta have, that's
right.
fine too. But when you don't find it, don't get mad at God, don't get mad at the
Don't get
world,
mad at anybody.
don't get
Yeah,
mad at anybody but yourself
yeah,
because you limited your choices to
right.
a simple list. Like I
Yeah,
said, some things, yeah, you can have that, but you're not always
hmm,
going to find that in one
right.
person. Now, I'm not saying
Yeah.
marry 10 people, okay? Don't do that, right?
Well, you got to get to the part where you're dating and get to that marriage stage. But I'm seeing people are dating longevity, and I get that marriage is not for some people. I don't want to say it's not, but I'm just saying if you want longevity, you're
Yeah.
not even going to get there with the ultimatum list.
No, you're
This is
not.
what my man did before you, and I don't want this. Are you going to do this to me too? So
Let me ask you
that's
something, Edna. Who gonna say yes? I'm gonna do that. Right? Absolutely. That's a first
yeah,
date.
absolutely. I'm going to hurt
I'm
you.
gonna
Yeah,
hurt
I'm
you
going to
after that.
drag you through the mud.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. I'm
Here's
going to
my
do
list of what I'm going to do to you. So be prepared. Don't be afraid, but be prepared. That's
that.
absolutely asinine. That's what that is.
Yes, it is. It
It's,
is.
it's a
It is.
non-committal thing. Like you said, they're not committing.
Yeah.
And most times, if a man doing that, that's what it is. An excuse to say it's her fault,
Yeah.
not his. He's not gonna
Right.
own that, right?
Right.
I always tell some women I talk to, men know who they want to marry if they're ready to get married
Right.
with sense. Men with sense. Okay, let me say that. I gotta get the disclaimer. I gotta get a disclaimer because somebody gonna call me like, no, man. I said, okay. Then I'm gonna ask the question.
Uh-huh.
What did they do? Did you ignore? Think about it. And they gonna be like,
Hmm.
always that. I haven't missed out on that yet. Everybody come to me with something silly.
That's right. And I'm gonna tell you, we have it after things go bad. We have that what they call 2020 hindsight. I saw that. I saw that. I saw that. And I ignored that and I kept going.
Yeah,
You know,
it was
after
there.
15 years, I ignored that.
It was
And now
there.
here I
Trust me.
am. And it's bound to, um, get worse, as I could
Yeah,
say. You know, um, Marriage is work, just like friendship
absolutely.
is work.
Absolutely.
It takes building upon understanding, communication. Right now, people are not willing to have that, not a surface level conversation, but a deep level conversation. Like, how's your finances at the table?
Hmm.
Do you have money? And then
Yeah.
right away, we're called gold diggers. But
Listen.
like, what is your financial situation? What do you, how do you shop? Am I going to be doing this all alone? Because I was a realtor for many years. I'm
Mhm.
still a realtor, but I would see people buy homes, married couples buy homes together when they, the gift from their in-laws or
Hmm.
parents would be a
Wow,
gift of a new house from the
that
ground up.
had that.
Okay. So we find the land, get the house started building on it. And then along the way, they have a budget. Then all of a sudden, one of the partners say, "Hey, I don't want this type of, granite top. I want this time." And then it ups the price, until the price changes. And then the other partner is trying to discuss it with them and say, "Hey, we're getting out of budget. No, 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 this is what I got to have." And you didn't know that this person, or didn't realize this person, had no value system to money and finances that you had. And so what happens at the end of the built house? They divorced. It's complete divorce because they didn't
Right.
know each other before they got into this.
100%. That is exactly why the relationship choices. Sometimes you have to say, it's like I tell my children, my daughter and my sons. There's
Hmm.
certain things you just got to say up front, and if they leave or give you some kind of snarky answer, they're not for you, right?
Right.
And I said, if they won't meet with us or they tell you, don't go to your parents, I say,
Right.
dump them really quick because they're going to cause you to lose your value. Okay. You have
Right.
a value system. If you don't follow that value system and ethics, they'll have you doing some crazy stuff. And you'll be rejecting your family. I'm talking about families that have good
Yeah.
values because
Yeah.
I know there's some
Yeah.
that have met those,
Hmm.
but there's always something there that you have to maintain. So that way, when you ask them, hey, if we're going to be together, there's some things I want to ask you up front.
Hmm.
And it's okay. I think that's totally in bounds, especially in today's society.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to do.
Okay. Good.
There's some
Good.
other questions I think you should ask, but I'm not going to say it right now. But there's some other things you should ask. So you won't be surprised.
Right.
You won't be surprised. That's all I got to say.
Well, the book has a lot of, I will say, those questions that you kind of ask. It has like the intersections and all that you can kind of probably ask, and get you thinking of the
Yeah.
questions you should ask. That's what I should
Hmm.
say. That's the word. Now I'm gonna ask you another question. So there's another show I watch.
Okay. Let's go.
So there's another show that I watch, and it's about dating. Like
Hmm.
I know your book is all about marriage, but it's about dating, and at all ages. So it could be someone in an older stage. Now that's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a real challenge, and and getting married is another component altogether. But just getting to that stage to date older, and I've been watching the show a
Yeah.
lot. They have like a different age groups, but I focus on the older, and I was watching the one with the 70-year-olds. Now, this is it. He had just lost his wife about a year ago, and she had been single for a while. Her husband died years ago, and so she decided to jump out into the dating field.
Mhm.
She literally, when they said, "You're going to date each other," she says, "No, because I don't think you're over your wife." All he kept doing was talking about his deceased wife. I know, because the purpose of older us in the 40s to 70s, we want to get married. That's our end goal. It's not dating. I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you now, it's not dating. So anybody tell you that, it's a lie. It's the hope for dating. Okay. How do we even get, you know, how do we, give me some advice for that area, the
Okay.
40s to 70, that they want to get back dating, and set their mind frame to marriage.
Okay. It's the same as when you're 18, 20, 21, 22.
It's the
Nothing
same. Okay.
changes.
Okay.
The only thing is that you got more experience.
Right.
You got more knowledge.
Okay.
Okay. So you know how to handle situations better, I hope. Some of that experience that you learned in the past,
Yeah.
I know this isn't always true because I've talked to people who keeps going through the same thing,
Right.
but they won't let go of things. And she was
Okay.
right. I'm glad she brought it up front.
Yeah.
You just want a companion because you are still missing your wife. Until
Right.
that guy's over that, she will never be in his heart ever. And that's the
Right.
thing. If he won't let her in, she's just gonna be there. And then one day he's gonna come out of him and say, I don't know why I married this person. So the principle has to be the same. You still and then when you're up in the age, why are you scared to be honest? Like, okay, this is where I am in life. I
Right.
have kids or my kids are this
Mm-hmm.
or this and that. Where do you see yourself? Right? Start asking those questions.
Okay.
Because we're about purpose, right?
Right.
Where do you see yourself? Now we're not kids, we're not playing around. And I
Right.
have my thoughts about
Right.
that too. All right. But shouldn't be at this stage, and I see it still. Now look
Right.
at these guys, and I have a luxury of talking to a lot of women who've been through stuff and they say some of the same things. And when they tell me the things that men say, I said, dude, what? I said, they actually say that? I thought that was just on TV or the movie. I said,
No, it's real life.
I'm blown away. And I'm like,
It's
so
real life.
it is real life. I was like, who
Yes.
taught you that? That these
Yeah.
are human beings. They have feelings, they have emotions, they have dreams, they have goals. They're not just equipment, you know? That's how they talk about them. I was like, so back to my point. So it's the same thing. But what they say, ODB, right? We
Yes.
still have those.
Right.
And I hear the younger women talk about these guys that's supposed to be old enough to mentor them, but they're looking at them like, you know. So it's all in the process of how you talk to people. And
Right.
you got to go about when you're 40 and up,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you should have some sense about yourself. I'm not saying
Yeah.
everybody does, but
Right.
if you're looking to commit again,
Right.
that's a big step because you may have been hurt before.
Right.
Have you gotten over the hurt?
Right.
Is it can you talk about it without tearing up or hurting yourself?
Right.
And so if he continues to do that, she would never be his all. He always gonna look at her. He's not gonna say it, but his actions are gonna say it. He's gonna be talking about his wife, and he gonna slip up and say something to her, and she's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
hurt. She's gonna be crying. They like, why are you crying? He doesn't love me. That's the
Right.
bottom line
Yeah.
because he hadn't let go of his old love. So
Right.
he should wait
Right.
until he gets
Yeah.
over it.
Right.
But he's gonna have to do something to get over. He can't sit down and do that. He's got to be proactive in doing something.
Right.
Be around people that's
That's true.
lively.
That's true. Yeah.
You
He
be
has.
around people
Yeah.
that's going somewhere, as living, and that's where
Yeah.
people mess
And
up.
I think that's what gets us in that quandary there. That what
Yes, man.
once like loss or we sit and we muddle in it, we
Yep.
stay in it, and then we expect to come out of it. And the second thing is companionship versus partnership. My dog is my companion,
Yeah.
you know. But you want a partner to do to do more than that. You want a deep dive, but you most people want at that age they want companions to go on trips with.
Exactly. And they're not really to settle down. Now
No, they're
that's
not really ready to commit. Right.
because yeah. And sometimes I think partnership to me sounds a little like
Business, yeah,
it
business.
sounds like a
I need
business. I
another
don't.
word.
Yeah, I know what you're saying because people use that a lot, and you
Yeah,
won't hear me use that word because
yeah,
I
it's
think
like
it's a little
business.
more
Yeah,
personal than that. My partner helps me make money or
right,
or make plans to do something.
right,
My
right,
spouse, my wife,
right.
whoever it is, that says something stronger to me.
Yeah,
So you
you're
won't hear
right.
me calling my wife a partner. That's my wife. Matter of fact, in my book, you remember I called her my best friend.
Yes.
She is my best friend. She was my best friend first. And like you said earlier, you can't be doing this quick marriage because y'all haven't been a friend yet,
Yeah.
right? You're
Right.
not even a friend. You don't even know each
Right.
other. So when they do something out of the way, you can't get mad because
No.
you didn't stay with them long enough to know that they act like
Right.
that. Because some
Right.
people can hide stuff a long time. It just
Sure.
take the right moment. It will. I didn't know. You did. You
Yeah.
just ignored it. Trust me, it was there when the dude or her got mad a little bit. You said,
Yes.
"Oh, that was cute." No, they have anger issues. Trust me, they do.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes. It doesn't look cute on adults when you have temper tantrums. Don't look
no, it
cute.
doesn't. So if you mad at
It
your
does
man
not
because he
look
had
cute.
like a little boy, he did that
Yes.
when he met you. You thought he was
Yeah.
cute and ignored all the signs.
Yeah.
Like so, I run this a lot of guys. So that's one of my things that I have to tell them.
Yeah.
You're not that teenage boy anymore. They're
No.
not looking to take care of you, right?
Right.
So yeah, so you have to be what we call a man,
Right.
a real man, Bible
Yeah.
man. Definition.
That's a tough position. Tough
It is
position.
a very tough position, but you can't allow people to sway you
Yes.
He
That's
left
right.
or right.
That's right.
So
You
in
have to have the
relationships,
courage.
yeah,
You
you
do.
got to have the courage. And one
You
thing I
do.
would say to this, if you're in a relationship and it's
Mhm.
horrible, leave it. Don't let nobody lock you in. Like I said in my book, God won't make you try to love him. He give you a choice, right?
Yeah.
So why
Right.
would he allow a man or a woman to abuse you and keep you in the marriage and some man say you got to stay married? No, you don't. The heck about it and save your life. So yeah,
Yes. Save your life.
save
Thank
your
you
life.
for that.
Save your life.
Thank you for that.
Don't let nobody in position because they have no heaven or hell to put you in.
That's right.
Save your life, okay?
Save your life.
Yeah.
I like that. That is such a great note to go out on because I was going to ask you that too, but you said it, so we're just in tune, and I like that.
Hey,
How can they get in touch with you? Where are you on Instagram? You know, all of that great stuff.
I have an Instagram, but I don't use it. It's designed with Sims. You just look that up. My
Okay.
picture's on there. I don't have any posts.
Okay.
I use
Awesome.
that, but my website is witnessthepowerpodcast.com.
Gotcha.
And on YouTube, just look up Witness the Power Podcast, and that's you will find me. And I do have a site, ashleylsims.com, that I realize that I got to make a better presence because a lot of people don't, do things like that. So, but
Yes.
yeah, you can really find me at my podcast, and then you can find me from
Okay.
there on my website. And yeah,
Awesome. Well, thank you. Audience, please go out and get this book. It is easy reading. I tell you guys, I read all the time. And look for me to give a in-depth review on next Tuesday. All right. So look for me on YouTube. I'm going to give an in-depth review. And we're so glad and thankful that you were here today, Mr.
yeah,
Ashley Sim,
yeah.
for just being present and helping us
Oh, no doubt.
really see marriage and purposely see it. So I
That's
love
right.
that. Love that. I love from the beginning to the end because that's
Thank
the
you.
goal is marriage.
It
Honestly,
is.
it really is.
I
So
appreciate you
thank you.
having me here too. It's awesome to be here. I appreciate you showing and what you do. People need to
Thank
be able
you.
to feel
Thank
like
you.
they can talk to somebody as a friend, and you make that happen. You're not hardlining them and stuff. So I appreciate
Yes.
that. Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you have any questions, I don't see any here on the YouTube. But if you have any questions, put them in the box. I will make sure. And listen, Ashley will be watching to see if you ask the questions. So he will be able to answer them for you. And we'll have his information in the box as well. So you can get in touch. This is Edna White, your esteemed host, and my esteemed guest, Ashley Sims, saying goodbye for now.
Yep. Goodbye. Have a good day.